So have you ever noticed that every year, right during election time, you hear a lot of noise and a lot of slogans about cannabis reform, but after they count the votes, all you hear is fucking crickets? Well, it's my opinion that a lot of politicians on both sides of the fence, Republican or Democratic, are using cannabis reform right now as nothing more than clickbait to buy votes. And in this video, that's what we're going to talk about, guys. What's going on? My name is Chris from Ambrosia Buds, and I live in the state of Virginia, and the reason I'm making this video is because recently we just got a new Democratic governor, Abigail Spanberger, and a big part of her campaign was to bring cannabis reform because our previous governor, Youngkin, was all against the retail sale of cannabis. A lot of people got excited about the idea of Abigail Spanberger becoming our new governor because she was going to open the door to retail sales to the retail sale of cannabis. It's not all what you think, guys, and that's what I want to break down in this video. I'm going to show you how Abigail Spanberger basically just used cannabis reform as a slogan to get votes to propagate basically a Marxist communist ideology agenda, because what she wrote in on the coattails of passing her new laws is detrimental to the state of Virginia as far as the citizens. And what am I talking about? Like, you guys can go down the YouTube rabbit hole and see a whole bunch of videos that detail what she's done in just the first few days of being the governor. And I'm telling you now, what she did is she said cannabis reform, but you haven't heard any details about what she's going to do in the state as far as when it comes to the cannabis laws. A lot of these states are just copying and pasting SB 542 bill. That's the same bill. They're not doing anything new. I've actually emailed the Spanberger's office with a detailed list of what I asked her how she could protect small and local growers. And I've also emailed the Cannabis Control Authority of Virginia as well with the same language, seeing how they protect consumers. Not just consumers, but the small time local growers. Because what you have to realize is that these laws aren't about the safety of the citizens. Like, they preach that to you. You know, it's all about protecting. It's all got to be about safe. No, it's not. The way these laws are designed, and this is both Republican and Democrat, red or blue, that they both fail at this, or they're not failing at this. They're both succeeding at what they're trying to do, and they're trying to perpetuate big business, big canna, just like big agriculture, big pharma. You see, it's not, they're not trying to protect the safety of citizens. It's not about this holdup. Guys, they've been studying cannabis for I don't know how fucking long, and they know exactly what they're doing. They're building the perfect business model for big canna to take over and to push out small time growers. And I'm going to basically prove that to you in this video. So, the SB 542 bill is the same bill that most states are using as far as licensing, social equity, and all that stuff. The social equity program is a fucking joke. I did a video before exposing the Minnesota fraud and comparing it to Virginia cannabis laws a few days ago. If you guys haven't checked that out, go watch that video. I'm not going to dive into it big time. But if you look at how everything's being written in the Virginia law, it's completely set up to commit fraud. It's completely set up for briberies of what you're going to see, and this isn't mentioned in the language, but you're going to see an influx of consultants come into this, and this is not just Virginia. You'll probably end up seeing this later down the road in all these states unless they change the language, because that's a big red flag to me. Is you heard all this talk about Abigail Spanberger promoting cannabis reform. However, after she got voted in, you haven't heard any details about how she plans to do that. And what I'm going to do in this video is, in the description below, I've basically drafted a rough draft of what I call the legacy bill that protects small time growers and the community and promotes local economy in cannabis in the state of Virginia, that any state can follow. Now, I'm not saying this is a perfect model by any means. Okay, like I said, it was a rough draft. I was just brainstorming, and I don't have a lot of time to do that with growing plants as well. But I want people to read that. I want people to look at it. I want people to tear it apart for what it is, because voters need to be more proactive in in voting for the politicians that they're voting for. You should be the ones mandating and constructing the laws that you want to be written. You should not be voting for a politician that's handing you a sales pitch of laws, because that's all that's happening right now. And especially in the state of Virginia, and the way that cannabis, well, all states, any state that copied and pasted the SB 542 law or bill, you're just copy and pasting, and you're basically promoting big business to come in. What you have is you have multi-state operators, MSOs, just waiting for certain states and federal legalization to take over so they can intentionally push out the small-time growers, the people that have been doing this forever, the people that have the integrity and the passion for this, the people that want to take this from a hobby to a career or a lifetime, something that can do generational wealth. And if you sit back on your ass and just bitch about it, I get me making the YouTube videos, me bitching about it, but become more aware, because you guys need to look at big agriculture. 20,000 farms, roughly 6 to 8% a year, are being not lost, but they're being gobbled up by big farms because people aren't uniting. Small time growers definitely need to unite, and not just Virginia, but in every state. Because when you look at what Abigail Spanberger just did using this cannabis reform, there's no reform. She didn't rewrite anything, and she hasn't put out any details or language of the bill that's supposed to be complementing SB 542. Okay, and that it's all about regulation. It's not about safety and protecting the public. Okay, that's what you have to realize. What they're trying to figure out is who can make the biggest buck the fastest, and that's going to be big business. You have multi-state operators, MSOs, waiting right now just to get the thumbs up to come in to push out small-time growers. That's not fucking fair. That's not what we voted for. And she did it just to get votes because she wanted to push abortion laws, gun control laws, higher taxes. When you guys Google or YouTube Abigail Spanberger's plan for Virginia, it looks like a communist fucking plan. And I'm not saying that because I hate Democrats. The Republicans have dropped the ball too. If I was a Republican politician that wanted to pick up the pace and catch up to the Democrats as far as how they're using cannabis as a clickbait to get voters, read the plan that I have in the description, because what I feel that the Republican Party is doing is they're just dropping the ball in order to allow Democrats to fuck it up so bad, so that once they do, they can be like, well, look what you guys did with cannabis. And what you don't realize is that alcohol hasn't changed. Alcohol has become more relaxed. Big pharma, more relaxed. Why is all the pressure as far as regulation on and licensing on cannabis? I'll tell you why, because it's a money game. Currently, right now, with just the states that have legal recreational use, is a $32 billion industry. Virginia is one of the states everybody's eyeballing because of the concentration of capital and income that exists in Northern Virginia alone. Okay, the more states that get on board on this, you're looking at a over $100 billion industry. And there's no way big business is going to forfeit or sacrifice that control to small time growers unless we unite, unless we stand up. Okay, guys, I'm making this video simply because a lot of people, and a lot of people disagree with me. A lot of people are just like, this is capitalism. This is how it's going to fucking end. This is how it's going to work. No, it's not. If you get off your fucking ass and you start making a fucking some noise, do whatever. But I mean, start reading your laws. Start actually, investigating what these politicians are fucking pushing on you, because they're not writing the laws that you want. They're writing the laws that they want, and they're packaging them in a way that will get you to vote for them. So guys, if you like what I'm talking about, do yourself a favor, read my description below, because that outlines how I feel the laws should be right now for every state. And this is protecting small time growers, home growers, because that's exactly who they're trying to push out, because we are the competition for corporations and big cannabis. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and give me a thumbs up. And don't be shy, guys. Leave me a comment. Leave me a comment of any way what I wrote in the description can be better, and not just for my state, but for the entire nation. Peace, stay green, and keep growing.